There are icons, there are champions, and then there are legends. But few ever carried themselves with the charm, wit, and sheer decorum of Graham Hill. Some men are born into racing, others carve their path. But Graham Hill, he did both, without ever taking the easy road. A champion, a gentleman, a legend, and the only man to conquer motorsport's greatest crown. Born in London in 1929, Hill didn't grow up surrounded by engines or racetracks. In fact, he didn't even learn to drive until he was 24 years old. While his rivals grew up in go-karts and polished helmets, Hill was fixing cars, making ends meet as a mechanic. Then fate intervened. A visit to the Brands Hatch Racing School changed everything. One lap was all it took. Hill was hooked. No money, no sponsors, no racing pedigree, just grit, determination, and a dream. He worked his way into motorsport the only way he could, trading labor for laps. As a mechanic at Lotus, he earned seat time. And in 1958, he made his Formula One debut. But success wouldn't come easy. The Lotus cars were fast, but fragile. Mechanical failures robbed him of results. By 1960, Hill moved to British Racing Motors, BRM. It was a gamble, but one that would change everything. In 1962, Hill faced off with the great Jim Clark for the World Championship. It all came down to the final race in South Africa. Clark's car failed. Hill seized the win, and with it, his first Formula One world title. A British driver in a British car. History made. But if there was one place that belonged to Graham Hill, it was Monaco. Between 1963 and 1969, Hill won the Monaco Grand Prix 5 times, earning the nickname Mr. Monaco. The twisting streets claimed many greats, but Hill tamed them, time and time again, with grace, precision, and nerves of steel. Then, 1968. Tragedy. Jim Clark, Hill's teammate, friend, and perhaps the greatest natural talent the sport had ever seen, was killed in a crash in Germany. The loss rocked the racing world. But Hill responded the only way he knew how. He led Lotus through its darkest hour and won his second world championship that same year. A victory dedicated to Clark, a triumph of courage and resilience. Hill's ambitions weren't limited to Formula One. In 1966, he stunned the racing world by winning the Indianapolis 500, one of the most dangerous, prestigious events on Earth. Only the second rookie in history to do so. Then in 1972, at the grueling 24 Hours of Le Mans, Hill partnered with Henri Pescarolo and crossed the line victorious. With that win, he did what no one had ever done, and what no one has done since. The Monaco Grand Prix, Indianapolis 500, 24 Hours of Le Mans. Fangio had 5 world titles. Senna had magic. Schumacher had speed. But only Graham Hill conquered them all. But time waits for no driver. By the mid-1970s, Hill was no longer a frontrunner. He retired from racing and focused on building his own team, Embassy Hill. His mission? To nurture the next generation, including a rising star named Tony Breeze. Then, disaster. On November 29, 1975, while returning from a test session in France, Hill's private plane crashed near London. He, Tony Breeze, and 4 others were killed. The world of motorsport was devastated. A legend, lost all too soon. But what many didn't know was that Hill died with little fortune. Unlike today's multimillionaire drivers, Hill raced for modest salaries. With most of his wealth tied up in assets, debts, and taxes, his wife Bet was left to sell their home just to survive. For his son, Damon Hill, the Hill name was more burden than blessing. He didn't inherit privilege. He started with motorcycle racing, worked as a courier, and clawed his way into Formula One on his own terms. In 1996, Damon became world champion, fulfilling a dream his father never saw, but one that Graham Hill undoubtedly inspired. Graham Hill wasn't just a racer. He was a gentleman, a fighter, a pioneer. He proved that charm and tenacity could go hand in hand, that wit and courage weren't mutually exclusive, that no dream was too big, even for a late starter from London. He was the master of Monaco, the king of Indy, a Le Mans champion, the only man to ever wear motorsport's Triple Crown. Graham Hill, the man who never gave up. Join us next time as we dive into the thrilling and often tragic tales of motorsport legends, exploring the stories that defined an era and the drivers who dared to dream.